and welcome back to, I guess, Survivor Hot Takes, but the first episode in as many seasons there are of my 42 and 42. As everyone saw on social media yesterday, I posted that over the next 42 days, 41 now, I will be attempting to watch every single season of Survivor before September 10th, 11th, something like that. Um, and I just finished watching Survivor Borneo at around 2:30 p.m. on day two. So as soon as we're done with this, I'll be starting Australia, and hopefully I'm hitting mid-merge right around 1 a.m. So thoughts. My first time watching this season, I was 9 years old, and I remember being much like every other person in America. Everyone hated the Tagi Alliance. Everyone was in love with Colleen, which I will get to in a second because I have thoughts. But I remember really liking Gretchen when I first watched, and anyone black, so Ramona and Jervis. And I remember being so butthurt that Richard won because I thought it was dirty that he had an alliance and that evil conquered good, which, based off of what I just saw in the reunion, it seemed like a lot of America was pretty on the fence on if they thought that he was that villain that he was being portrayed as. This is I guess, a microcosm of what the year 2000 was. There are a lot of words that are mentioned frequently in the season that you couldn't get away with even like 5-6 years later. The people that are like praised, like Rudy is inherently, he is very funny because I love crabby old men, but you all know. You all know. Uh, I'm joined for this episode by John Buckley, who we will be having a few times during this journey. John, what are your memories of Survivor Borneo? When was the last time you watched? And do you think that you would watch it anytime soon?
Well, Borneo aired when I was like 1 year old. Um, I was an infant. So I don't have any recollection of when it was airing. However, I can live vicariously off of what my mom has told me. She started watching it halfway through the season because everyone at her job couldn't stop talking about it. And then she got on and hooked, and now, the rest is history. We haven't stopped since. So Survivor literally has been in my house my entire life. So that's like a preface. Like, literally, when I say it's been my whole life, you can blame Borneo for that. Last time I watched it, I had it a couple years ago at this point, because I don't really, when you go back to watch seasons, the last thing I'm going to do is be like, oh my god, I'm going to watch Borneo. Yeah, let's do that. So it's been a hot second since I've watched it, but I think that there's it's the season, it's like the most innocent season because nobody knows what they're doing.
Yes.
So, like, it's just like some of the nuances, like the fact that the merge vote is like a 4 to like.
It's like, I think there's all ones except for the Tagi Alliance, who were the only ones that actually voted together.
The fact that a 4-person alliance got majority in a 10-person tribe is so fucking funny.
Well, and I would say it's the first ever blindside in the history. Like, Brett Gumbel kept trying to bring up other people like not knowing that they were getting the vote, but I feel like the Gretchen vote is the first blindside in the history of the show, because they even have, like, when she saw the third Gretchen pop up, she's like, "It's me." She knew what everyone else in Pagong figured out way later, which is there are 4 people voting together, and then every episode after that, it's like, were they voting together? We'll find out next time we vote. It's like, well, no, you should just realize this now. I think Jervis was the last person to figure it out, which is wild to me. From Pagong, Dr. Sean, I think he caught on right around when Jervis did. But like you said, it's so innocent because there's basically like 2 people that actually know what the show is about, what the goal of the show is, and then there's, so funny at the reunions, like, then there's these Gen Xers who think that it's just all about having fun and all that, and it's like, wow, it's it's so different now because the Gen Xers hate fun. No offense to any Gen Xers. But, there are things like Jeff allowing them to stay at tribal council instead of going back to camp because it was raining too hard. He gives Kelly insults for her shoes to walk to tribal after she did an endurance challenge. Jeff just comes off so wholesome this season, and I love it because I know what's to come. And it just kind of seems like he's just as lost as everybody else. The long pauses while he looks at the person's name, it's so drawn out, and it's not corny, but I can see how people might take it as corny. I can see how people back in the day might take it as corny, because he just stares at it for a good 4 seconds before he turns. When people win immunities, there's not this big, song and dance about come over, put the necklace on. It's just like cut to commercial. Like there's just a slow-mo of the person getting the immunity, cuts to commercial. There really isn't any strategy talk, and then they go to tribal. It's so weird watching.
Can we talk about the challenges for a second?
Yeah.
But the best challenge, and this is what dates this season so much,
is the Blair Witch.
I don't know what to call it, but it's like the Blair Witch challenge.
It's the Blair Witch challenge.
It's
the Rudy I don't know challenge.
I don't know challenge. It's literally, that is my favorite moment of the entire season, is where you go, I don't know.
I think I sat on my phone during that challenge because I couldn't force myself to look up and watch this, because right before Jeff does like this like a walkthrough of how it's gonna go, and he's like basically reenacting scenes from Blair Witch Project. It's like, this is so bad, but I'm sure in 2000 everyone loved it because the movie had come out the year before.
Yeah. Because Blair Witch was like, because a lot of people, I think probably there were still a lot of people at that time that weren't convinced that movie wasn't real.
Yes.
My mom thought it was real. She told me.
I mean, the internet didn't really exist. So.
Found out it wasn't real, and I was like.
And then we get, I think, the two biggest strategic points of this season. I would say one was the formation of the Tagi Alliance. Yeah. But two is the Final Three immunity challenge. And sitting there listening to Rich explain why he did what he did, coming down first, making sure that the odds are better in a 50-50 than in a 63. What is that? 66?
Like in a
66, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He had better odds coming down and letting them because he knew that Rudy was going to take him, and he knew that Kelly probably would take him because she would have a better chance of beating him than he did of her. So I think those are the two big strategic parts of this season. I texted you about this. I do feel like the season is a slog, but it goes by very fast. I was able to do 5 p.m. to about 2 a.m. this morning, and then woke up and was able to finish at 2, just because I was having fun seeing these characters again. But also, there was never an episode where it's just like, all right, let's just get through this. Even the whole Pagonging thing, which is like, people think that Pagongings are boring. This very first Pagonging wasn't as boring as like a Redemption Island, because it's so silly watching these people think, oh, well, we'll just get Dr. Sean, and Dr. Sean's like, well, I'm going to vote alphabetically so that people don't hate me, and then everyone just hates him anyway. You have Colleen, which I want to get to. Everyone saying Colleen is America's sweetheart, and she's blushing and all that, and they're trying to ship her and Greg very hard, and this is one of those fun editing things. The episode where they're trying to say, oh yeah, Colleen and Greg have this relationship.
Yeah.
They both on camera say there is nothing going on, blah, blah, blah. When they do the recap at the beginning of the next episode, all it has is Colleen saying, oh, we're totally having sex. And then it cuts to the next thing. It's like, oh, well. And then Bryant Gumbel brings it up again at the reunion. And they're like, there's nothing going on between us because Greg was knocking boots with somebody else. Everything about this season, like, because I was nervous starting this off. Everything about this first season has made me excited for the next 41 days, which sucks because Friday, I believe, is Thailand. So I'm going to hate myself again before I love myself on Saturday or Sunday when I get to Amazon. Overall thought, like where do you usually put Borneo?
Like a solid 27th.
Because you don't, is it because you don't have the nostalgia factor, or do you think that if you did, it would still be right around there?
It's hard to, I'd say it's probably still be around there, to be honest. Like, I mean, like you can, like the older seasons. Actually, I shouldn't say the older because not all of them, but like I don't know, like a good reality series, as we found over time, needs that trial run series for the second season to fly. And like this is true with like a lot of the major players anymore. So think like, this Big Brother, RuPaul's Drag Race, Top Chef, even like all these shows that have gone on to have so many seasons, their first season is like truly a trial run. And like while it does have like the iconic people and stuff, it doesn't have all the parts that I know and love Survivor as now. So I mean it kind of falls where it is, but like it's also hard because Australia is like I think is the most iconic season. Like if you look back, so like having Australia there kind of blinds Borneo for me a little bit because there's that like it's like the veil that
Yeah,
Australia.
it's similar to BB1 and BB2, where everyone says BB1 doesn't even count. It's like, well, I still count it, mainly because they had a returner come back. So, like, if they really wanted to retcon and say that season one never happened, I feel like they would not have brought back. Yes, I've seen 2 seasons of. I've seen 3 seasons of Big Brother now. So,
Ew.
yes. So my final thoughts on Borneo before I start Australian Outback. I have it queued up. When last I did this, when I did 40 and 40 during COVID, I gave it a 4.25 out of 5. And I'm actually sticking with that. Like, I really felt like, and it has to be nostalgia goggles, and I can't remove those. But I really felt like, yes, as much as this season is a slog, it's very fun. It's very fun seeing, Rich from day one knowing he's going to win the $1 million. It's fun watching Jervis his first time around and seeing how far he came the second time. Same thing with Jenna, where Jenna's like, I can't lie. I don't know. I don't want to do the whole backstabbing thing. And then she's probably the second biggest villain in All Stars. It's fun seeing how much emphasis they put on stuff that doesn't matter. And I'm really excited to get to season 2, to get to more of these iconic characters. And I don't think, when does oh no, that's season 4 with Rosie and Colby. Not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to season 4. John, I know this was short notice. Thank you for coming through. Everyone that is watching this both live and later, these videos we put out once a day. The time is going to be different every single day because it all depends on when I finish the season. I will be doing live streams of certain seasons where I just sit there on camera from beginning to end, probably for the bigger ones. I will definitely be doing it for 42 in September, so look out for that. Every now and then I'll have guests on if it's like a real person time of day, like whatever time it is now, John can do it. But if it's 4:00 in the morning, I'm probably just going to sit on here and just ramble before I start the next season. So, John, thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to one of my favorite seasons, the most inspirational season to me, Australian Outback. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.